Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Denise Cardona Santos. I am the non-commissioned officer in charge of the Clarinet Quartet named Mission Winds. We are in the band of the West station in San Antonio, Texas at Lackland Air Force Base. And we want to thank you so much for joining us today, this virtual setup. And we're really happy to share our new content with you guys. And not only that, talk a little bit about our mission and the opportunities that the Air Force has to offer and all that good stuff. So, rules of engagement. You will be surprised how difficult it is to do this when we are so used to have an audience in front of us. It's really difficult for us to interact with you when we can't see you. Actually, I was talking to my friends here, my colleagues, that I feel a little bit more nervous doing this than actually performing live in front of a big audience. So you can help us, hook us up, and make this as interactive as possible. Just make sure to leave some comments, questions, anything you have in mind. Please share with us in the comment section. And eventually, we have a segment for questions and answers, and hopefully we can address all your questions and concerns later on in the program. So without further ado, let's get started. So that was our Woodwind Quintet performing a Dvorak Opus 8. It's a cute little video. I thought in embracing them, so you guys can see that we're not only we're not gonna embrace the clarinet. This applies to all kinds of instruments today. We want to make sure that you are familiar with all the groups that we have in the Band of the West. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Like I mentioned before, my name is Denise Cardona Santos. I'm a technical sergeant in the Air Force, and I have been serving active duty for 15 years, going into 16 in April. It's incredible how fast time goes by, especially during this job. And to be honest, I think this is the best decision I ever made. at this point, it still blows my mind on the things that we have been able to achieve, especially now during COVID. How we stay performing. We change our approach to the way we tour, the way we do our mission, to a practically 100% virtual setup, and it's working. And I'm really proud of our team, especially the PA office in the band, that actually took the initiative and actually taught us how to utilize every social media platform out there to our advantage. So when I joined the Air Force, I didn't speak English. My English was really bad. And if I made it through basic training, everybody can. So, but then I realized when I came in, I thought, okay, I'm just going to play the clarinet. That's it. But actually, that's not the case. We do a lot of things. And further in the program, we will tell you a little bit more of our duties and in the Air Force. But the fact that our mission is honor, inspire, and connect, how important our job really is in the military, actually changed my mind. I remember when I came in, my dad was not very happy to see me performing for a military band, but then he saw what our mission was, and now he has a little sticker in his car that says, "My daughter, I'm the father of, I'm proud of my daughter that serves in the Air Force." So what is honor, inspire, and connect? Well, we honor those who are serving and who have served, and we inspire new generations to join and serve, and we connect in this setup right now. So that's a little bit of our mission, but further on, we will keep explaining a little bit more in detail. So make sure to leave comments and talk to us. Please get those comments and questions coming out, because we love to interact with our audiences. So the next piece we're going to perform, we're going to play for you today, is by Paquito de Rivera, and is for the Clarinet Quartet. And it's one of my favorite pieces. Paquito de Rivera has this great ability of mixing new jazz music with Afro-Cuban rhythms, and not only like that, it's an amazing saxophonist, but also an incredible clarinetist too. So this is one of my favorite pieces, so I hope you enjoy Contradance.
Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. That's one of my absolute favorite pieces that we get to play in the quartet here. I'm Airman First Class Ben Hughes. I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I went to University of Texas, Austin, to get my bachelor's degree in music. Had a great time there. And then during my last semester there, was able to win this audition. And I joined in July of 2019. And so I've been here about a year and a half now. It's a great job. You get paid to perform, so nothing to complain about, really. So along the lines of what Technical Sergeant Cardona was talking about earlier, with what our mission is. Part of that mission is playing in ceremonies and funerals. So it includes sometimes marching, sometimes just standing, playing, sometimes sitting down for ceremonies. Actually, the only ceremony I've been able to be part of was a naturalization ceremony for new immigrants becoming citizens. So we sit down and perform music for that. Everything from that to promotions, to the funerals of presidents. The band was able to perform for George H.W. Bush's funeral a few years ago when he passed away. And then that also includes playing anthems and patriotic songs during that for not only our own country, but for other nations as well. We were able to work with the Peruvian Air Force last summer to partner with them and actually play their Air Force song because it was their anniversary. So we get to do everything from all that ceremonial stuff to performing for y'all today, going on tour, doing this and all kinds of other really fun things. So the next piece on the program, one of my absolute favorite marches. I was never a fan of marches as a whole usually, but March of the Belgian Paratroopers is what we're gonna play next. I absolutely loved it. I hope you enjoy.
I left Jim there at the end because he looks so sweet when he smiles at the camera. So I would like to address some of the comments. Thank you so much, guys, for all the wonderful comments and the compliments. We really appreciate that. We have a few questions here. I saw one that said, how do you guys play together when you're so far away from each other? That was a cute one. So normally what we do is when we have a new project coming up, we decide, me as the NCOIC, which means non-commissioned officer in charge of the group, I contact my MD, which is the music director, which is Sergeant Van Hog, and I contact her and I say, hey, what would you like to do next? Let's put together something. And we talk about the subjects that we're going to address in our next virtual tour, and we decide to put a program that couples very well with that subject. So we were looking for March, and because we haven't recorded a March in a long time, and we came across this cute arrangement, very very cute arrangement. My Master Sergeant Craig, also a clarinetist, and what we did, we asked the individuals in the group, hey, go ahead and record yourself individually. Then we send those tracks to our audio engineer, which, by the way, we do have an audio engineer in the band. Is actually a position. I think. Do we have any audio engineer positions openings in the band career field at this moment? We do. So yes, if you are into that, I will say you can go ahead. We will talk about auditions in the next few minutes. So we will address those audition questions in a little bit. So yes, we record each other individually. Then we send those tracks to the audio engineer. He does the mixing, and then in this moment, it was me, the one that did the video editing. I literally just learned and trained myself thanks to YouTube, and yeah, that's how we got it done. So any of the other questions? I think there was one addressed to you, Hughes. Did you see it? Who was asking?
I answered it.
You answered it.
That's my teacher. Yeah.
So thank you so much for the compliments. Really appreciate it. So let me talk to you about the next video we're gonna play for you guys. So we love to stay we love to keep our relationship with the local community here in San Antonio in a very healthy state. San Antonio is known for being extremely supportive of the military, and we have this project, this huge production that we do every year, and it's called Red Ribbon Week, and it's a project based on it's a message of drug-free, violence-free environment in schools. And it's one of our favorite missions to do because it turns into a huge production, and we use the rock band for it. And what we do is normally we hear the subject for the year's celebration, and we try to match the content with a program that matches the message. Normally we choose songs that are typically high at that point. Everybody's listening to the song, so we try to make those songs as modern as possible, so as current as possible. So I hope you enjoy this next video in celebrating Red Ribbon Week.
Greetings, and welcome to this 2020 production of Red Ribbon Week. I am Major Dustin Doyle, the commander and conductor of this great band, and I am thrilled to introduce this show for you today. Every year during this time, we perform a show for schools in the San Antonio area, and we are so thrilled to share our Red Ribbon Week show with you this year. Throughout this performance, you will hear many familiar songs, and we want you to have a great time watching and listening to them. But the main reason we are here is to remind you of the Red Ribbon Week message. Be happy, be brave, be drug-free. We in the United States Air Force are committed to a drug-free lifestyle, and we want you to know that you can go far in life by being drug-free as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Red Ribbon Week 2020.
touch.
Good afternoon, Troy University Clarinet Studio and Dr. Phillips. Gosh, it's really great to be here today. But I have to say right off the bat, just like Sergeant Cardona was talking about earlier, how different it is to prep for performance when you're doing these virtual performances. Denise talked a little bit about how we put our videos together and then we play them in this setting. So meaning we aren't performing for you live. So that really, it's really cool. We get to really put together a really clean production and show that to you, but we're still performing. So, rather than me sitting here before the gig thinking about, do I have a good read? Is my clarinet working okay? Did I do my long tones? Am I really ready for this gig? I'm staring at this sheet here and it says, look at Star Wars. And I'm thinking, why did I write? Oh, because there's this green dot on my computer. And in order for me to actually be looking at you, I have to look at my green dot. And on the left and the right of my green dot are stickers that say Star Wars. So it's the little things that makes this work for us. So I'll introduce myself. I am Staff Sergeant Michelle Van Haug. I might have said that earlier. Welcome to my dining room. That's where we do our performances from, our living rooms, our dining rooms, our bedrooms, all to keep everyone safe, of course, and to continue performing and reaching out and finding ways to squash this pandemic. So my background, a little bit, I did my undergraduate degree at Ithaca College way back in the day. I studied with Michael Galvan, and I did my undergraduate degree in K through 12 music education. I enlisted in the Air Force in 2001. I spent a few years in. I got out, and then I did my master's degree at New England Conservatory, studying with Tom Martin. And then I spent the next 10-ish years working on a project that's very near and dear to my heart, still is. It started as Clarinets for Conservation. It is now called Daraja Music Initiative. And that is a project that serves youth and their communities in the Kilimanjaro region of Tanzania, East Africa, the national tree of Tanzania, the African blackwood, or Mpingo, might very well be the place from which the clarinet, the wood from your clarinet was born. It is southern Tanzania and northern Mozambique are the two primary locations where African blackwood is harvested from. But this resource has become very much it's on the endangered list right now. So our students learn how to play the clarinet, and they also plant those trees to really harvest a love for sustainability. So I'm hoping to get back to that project. I stepped out of that project. I still work with that project part-time, but I got back into the Air Force in 2017 because I'm a mom now. I have a husband and a 4-year-old son, and the security, the benefits in the Air Force they're really second to none. And I think I probably realized it in the most stark way when this pandemic happened and orchestras are shutting down. And I mean, the theater district is dark in Manhattan. I mean, who would have ever thought that would ever happen? And somehow through this entire pandemic, not only have I still gotten a paycheck on the 1st and the 15th, and has my family gotten health care, but I'm able to do these productions. I'm able to perform and to keep, yes, Julie, yes. Oh my gosh. Julia just had her baby. Oh, she has the sweetest little doll. Yeah. So Julia is such an inspiring teacher. I've always watched her. So Julia Georges that Dr. Phillips just mentioned, she's one of the three main folks behind making Daraja Music Initiative in Tanzania come to life in the way that it has. But anyhow, I'm super excited to be here and so grateful to be able to continue as a musician. And we're going to talk about auditions for the Air Force bands a little bit after this segment. But one of the things that I'm here to talk to you about today is the word patriotism and unity and what those two words mean to the United States Air Force and to the other branches of the military as well. I think the best way that I could describe this to you is by reading for you a direct quote. This was said by the Secretary of the Air Force in honor of Martin Luther King Day in January. And I'd like to read this message to you because it really represents what we do and what we believe. As we reflect on the challenges we collectively experienced as Americans in 2020, it is more important than ever that we pursue this new year with heightened appreciation for the common goals we embrace, to safeguard our families, to have meaningful opportunities at work and in life, and to be better tomorrow than we were yesterday. As we reflect on Dr. King's vision, we endeavor to build an environment where content of character matters, and all who serve have an equal opportunity to succeed. Fostering an inclusive and diverse organization makes us better, stronger, and more effective in our duty to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Toward this end, we are diligently working to identify and remove barriers to equality that may exist in our ranks in order to utilize the unique talents and capabilities each person brings to our team. We have a really great production that I'm excited to introduce, and I think this really sums up what the Air Force is saying. A1C Adriana Parson is a singer-songwriter with the Band of the West, and this is her song, Choose Love.
I fall on my knees. Never been afraid to get a little dirty, 'cause I'm the only one who could ever really hurt me. My eyes only see what I want, so I don't picture the worst, because my life should be better than good enough. Love isn't the only thing I got, it's just love isn't the only thing I got, it's just the anger and the fear and the hate, they're never too far away, but after all is said and done, I'd rather choose love. We harbor the pain, we give it refuge, make it so it's comfortable again, then wonder why it won't leave in the end. Oh, love isn't the only thing I got, it's just love isn't the only thing I got, it's just the anger and the fear and the hate, they never too far away, but after all is said and done, I'd rather choose love isn't the only thing I got, it's just love isn't the only thing I got, it's just trekking life alone every day. I do know it's wrong today, but I know I won't make a mistake if I only choose love. choose.
We're all really excited to have Adriana with us. She brings great meaning to our ensemble. So speaking of singers, we have openings in the band for singers. We have openings in the band for a number of instruments, including orchestral instruments. We have a slide here I want to show to you. This essentially shows every position that's available in the Air Force bands, and this includes both the regional bands and the premier bands. We have 2 premier bands, one in Colorado, one in DC, and then we have 4 regional bands throughout the country which host regional band auditions, but there are actually 6 units that host Air Force regional musicians in the country. And then if you're in a regional band, you also have an opportunity to serve in one of the 3 overseas bands. That's Hawaii, Germany, and Japan. As a clarinetist, you could only possibly end up in Germany. That's where they have a concert band. While I'm thinking of it, I want to take a quick pause to say, if any of you have any questions at all about auditioning for the bands or anything that we do, definitely go ahead and feel free to put any of those questions in the chat here. Oh, speaking of, thank you. Yes, we did go through basic training. It's honestly, it's doable. I believe anyone and everyone can do it. It's an experience, absolutely. And I think for me, the hardest part of the experience really was that I was in the drum and bugle corps flight as a musician. If you're going to the band, you end up in the drum and bugle corps flight, and then you're given an instrument, not a clarinet. You're giving either a brass instrument or a percussion instrument. So I was a little annoyed that because I had my K through 12 music education degree, they just gave me a bugle and said, here you go. When really I thought all I could think for those, 6 weeks was, you're screwing up my chops, man. But they didn't care.
I played the snare drum.
Man, I wish I played the snare drum.
And the other thing is that normally, most likely, musicians tend to be the oldest in the flight. Normally, we tend to be the old people. And sometimes when you're the oldest, they put you in charge of things. But not biggie. Like I said, I didn't speak English and I made it. So no biggie.
Oh my gosh. I love when, Denise, when you describe your experience, when you say it was literally all monkey see,
monkey do. Yeah, literally monkey see, monkey do. I remember that day. You remember that day when they take you to this huge kind of like warehouse kind of place where you choose your uniforms and your PT stuff, and they're literally telling you a list, and you listen and you start grabbing stuff, right? I didn't speak English, so he was telling us what to grab from the shelves, and I was like, okay, I'll just grab everything I can, and I put so much stuff in my bag, and then you kind of have like an inspection because they want to make sure that you grab exactly the items that they told you to. Mine was a mess. I literally grabbed boots that were different sizes. I don't know why. And yes, I wore those boots for the rest of the basic training time. So I was wearing a huge boot with a tiny because it was just so stressful. I didn't know what he was saying. So I started grabbing stuff. But even like that, I made it. So good question, then.
Well, I'm curious for Jim and Ben. You went to basic training the most recently. You've been in just for a couple of years now. What was like the craziest thing that happened to you while you were there? I put you both on the spot. Go, Jim.
The Jodies. Those were pretty crazy.
What's a
So
Jodie?
the Jodies are what you sing when you run or you're marching anywhere, and those are pretty violent. They got
I
some
heard a
interesting
few funny
lyrics in
ones.
them. What'd you
We
say?
had a few. We had a few funny ones. Like we used to sing one that was about SpongeBob, Sponge SquarePants. Our TI was pretty funny, so
That's
it
cool.
can be different in different flights.
Yeah, different. Those were a little shocking from a music background to talking about, doing what the Air Force does. So yeah.
I have a few because I was so stressed out in basic training, it triggered my sleepwalking issue that I didn't know I had. So I sleepwalk every night, and it came to the point that my TI had to tell the other trainees, hey, when you see Denise walking around, please take her back to her bed and make sure that she's back to her bed in a safe manner. So I did things like really crazy because the stress, but now I think about it, and I was just overthinking the whole process. I was just nervous. But yeah,
Nothing about it's too bad. It's
it's
pretty
not
easy,
too
guys.
bad.
Any chance you'd have to fight?
Oh yeah, that's a really great question. Well, I'll answer that with first. Yes, we do have members who deploy, but if it got to the point where we were deployed with a rifle as our primary instrument, then things have gotten very bad in the world. Yeah. So our mission as a musician in the Air Force Band, our primary mission is to use music as a diplomatic force for good. So really we're all clarinetists. We're using the clarinets for diplomacy. It's our rock bands who usually deploy overseas, and they work with dignitaries. They work with the troops that are deployed. They work with communities from East Africa all the way across through the Middle East. And their gig when they are there is literally to find musical ways to open up conversations between communities, between commanders across different lines. And so I've never deployed before, but I've never had a conversation with someone from one of our ensembles who has deployed without them sometimes almost really being broken down into tears, because it is such a powerful experience for them to be a part of international diplomacy in such a way. But that's a great question. So that makes me think of, boy, you must be wondering, what do we really do for the Air Force? We get that question. That's probably the number one question we get, because most people think it's incredulous that you can actually be a full-time performing artist in a military. It almost seems like an oxymoron, right? But I mean, our AFSC, our Air Force Specialty Codes, we're actually coded with our instruments. And if that tells you anything, that the Air Force respects us to the point where they say, hey, no, you're coded as a clarinet player, and that is what you will do for us.
They call us kind of like soft force. We're considered a soft force in the Air Force.
Yes,
so.
us and public affairs. Yeah,
Yes.
and photographers, and there's a whole, if you can imagine the job in the civilian world, then it most definitely exists in the Air Force. It's just not something that's, on the forefront of military advertising per se. But I will put that auditions plug in for us. So one of the things that's gone down with us during this pandemic is we haven't been having auditions because it's unsafe. We don't want people traveling, et cetera, for all these reasons. But not having auditions, yet people are still retiring. We've lost a great deal of musicians. You lose one bassoon player, then you have an entire woodwind quintet that's down. That affects 4 other musicians. You lose a bassoon player from your concert band. That affects all the music and everything. So we're kind of scrambling to start catching up now. We're starting to hold in-person auditions again, but should you be interested in working with the Air Force bands now or in the future, the best place for you to go to find out about a job with us is to music.af.mil, www.music.af.mil. You can see all the bands that are there. You can see the regional bands and the premier bands, but also will see all of the vacancies, and each vacancy has a link, and it will show you the requirements. Step one is you would send in an audio recording. You'd send your resume with the audio with the requirements list. For a clarinet player, you're looking at Mozart Clarinet Concerto, exposition only, no accompaniment, plus there's usually 5 excerpts that might be asked. You send that in, and then the next step would be an invitation to a live audition. During the pandemic, we have been inserting a middle step in there. Say we have 50 clarinet submissions, and in our live auditions, we have our safety protocol now is we're not inviting more than 5 people to come live. So therefore, we have to have a second step of vetting. So sometimes we've had online or Zoom auditions where you would play through your repertoire and record it while in that Zoom call, and then you would send it in to us. But that might be going away with the pandemic making a change. Hopefully we'll start having just full in-person auditions again. But yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I did see here a very important question, and it's, are there any officer positions in the band?
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be a good one to address.
Yes, that. So our commander, who introduced himself at the beginning of that Red Ribbon Week video, he is an officer. He's our commander and conductor, I should say. So the only officers in the bands are the conductors. So, you know, some could say that's the downside of it, but we could debate that until the end of time. It's still a very good paycheck.
Yes.
And I'll also jump in real quick
please.
there. If you want to look at what's typically on our clarinet auditions, there is a form on our website that I got posted in the chat. You can go look there and scroll under clarinet. And there is the audition happened or is happening, I think, tomorrow. But this list is still up there, so you can see what we typically require and what you would need to practice for that.
And another very important point that I want to share with you guys is that we take your health very serious, regardless of the fact that Texas is reopening and you know, COVID restrictions are changing. Our commander's priority is your safety. And I'm extremely grateful for that, because I personally have a son that has an autoimmune condition. And thanks to our leadership that kept us safe during this pandemic, I will always be grateful for that. So just have in mind that we always have your health is our priority. Your safety is our priority. So, and that's the reason why right now we're struggling with manning, because we stopped doing auditions. And like Sergeant McHawk mentioned, people kept retiring or getting out, stuff like that. So that's I think we kind of had to balance things out and sacrifice a little bit of that to keep our personnel safe. Mm-hmm. Any other questions that you guys noticed in the comment section? Thank you so much, guys, for keeping sending us those questions. We really appreciate it. How do you balance individual practice with your job? Sergeant Van Hawk, you wanna or any or Ben or James?
Well,
Yeah, I can.
It's I'm just going to say that it was funny that I love that Tyler put that question up, because in the chat we have a chat feed on the side where we tell each other, hey guys, don't forget this, don't forget that. And someone said, put in the chat, hey Michelle, can you make sure to mention how you balance individual practice with the job? And I said, is it practicing our job? So, but Ben, you go for it.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got here, my entire day was basically just practicing, because you do spend those 2 months of basic not playing your instrument for us woodwinds. So my entire job was just practicing when I get back to get my chops back up. And even now, or if we were in a pandemic right now, when we were at work, you've got admin duties. I don't think we've talked about that yet, but I'm in charge of operations for the group. So I reached out to Dr. Phillips to actually schedule this, and I do all that kind of scheduling stuff. There's several other, but I spend a few hours during a normal day when there's not a pandemic, a few hours on that a day maybe, then a few hours practicing, and then if we have a rehearsal that day, then a few hours in that. So there's never a day where I don't have time to get paid to practice during the workday.
It's a good way to put it. Get paid to practice, because that's practically, yeah. And another thing that not too long ago, like I think like 2-3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a tumor in my jaw, and I went through surgery, and I couldn't play for quite some time. And the fact that that my leadership, the first thing they thought was, well, our priority is for you to be healthy and for you to heal and to take your time to heal. So they made sure that they put me out of all the groups. I was still getting paid. It's amazing. Which other job can you do something like that in a symphony orchestra or anything like that? If you can't play for 6 months, it's difficult. So I was able to actually heal and take my time and not worry about paying my mortgage in my car. So that's a good thing out there for you to keep in mind too. So any other questions that I missed? So should we keep going? I guess we can keep going, I think. But if you do still have some questions regarding auditions, yes, please feel free and go to the link that we sent to you, and feel free to ask any questions. We're more than happy to help you. So I was just thinking while I was watching this little concert that we're virtually presenting to you, and I realized I kind of dig the fact that we're embracing all the groups in the band. I like that. And it's going to be difficult when we go back to touring. I'm not going to be able to bring the jazz band with me. I'm not going to be able to bring the Woodwind Quintet with me. So I'm probably going to miss that. So I noticed that I kind of like that. So it's a pretty cool thing. So for the next piece, I want to talk to you about partnerships. Our air and space professionals don't fight alone. Our mission operations are inherently coalition operations that benefit from the expertise and capabilities of our international partners. We truly love to keep healthy relationships in the international area. So recently we had the opportunity to work, like Aaron Hughes said, to work with the Peruvian Air Force. And actually, it was a project that came out of nowhere. It was actually because of COVID. We started communicating virtually. One of their clarinetists actually was interested in a partnership kind of project, and we decided, you know what, let's do it. Then after I committed to it, I didn't realize it was such a big production because it included their jazz band. I thought that he just wanted to play a duet, but no, it was actually an arrangement, a composition they made for 2 clarinets and a jazz band. So it makes the clarinet kind of cool. So this next piece is really cool Afro-Peruvian kind of rhythm, and using 2 classical oriented instruments as the main focus. It's actually pretty cool. And not only that, we are embracing and one of our best percussionists, I say best because he's like my brother. He's like an amazing Latin percussionist that we have stationed right now in the band, in the Air Force Band in Hawaii. He actually was kind enough to take some of his time, busy time, and record the percussion, the Latin percussion part for us on this. So I hope you enjoy this cool little piece called Festejo. we're getting close to the end of our program here today. I want to say thank you so much for having us in this virtual setting. Dr. Phillips, thank you so much for letting us meet your students in this virtual way. We truly appreciate it. Our program got a little bit longer than we expected because you guys did such a great job of keeping us busy, talking and answering your questions. But I really want to make sure that you know that on behalf of the 502nd Air Base Wing Commander, General Miller, and our commander, the band commander, Major Doyle, that we really appreciate your support. And hopefully you guys can keep in touch with us. Go to our Facebook page and like us, and make sure you keep in touch with us so you know our future schedules when we go back to go on tours again. Really quick, I want one of my members to introduce himself and introduce the last piece. Go ahead, Emma Campbell.
Hey everyone, I'm James Campbell. I'm from Michigan, Ann Arbor, Michigan. I did my undergraduate at Temple University with Ricardo Morales and my master's at U of M. But as Technical Sergeant Cardona said, go to Facebook, like us, go to our Instagram, all just Band of the West, Twitter. We're on there. If you want live updates on auditions or just want to just listen to any videos we've made in the past, they're all there for you guys to watch. So please enjoy that. And the last piece is Dance Monkey. I don't know if y'all know it, but Nick Daniels does a great job. So we love to show it. So enjoy. Have a great day.
They say, oh my gosh, I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead when I was passing by. Now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I seek you, seek you, seek you every time. No, I like your style. You make me wanna cry. Now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. I said, oh my gosh, I see you walking by. Take my hand, my dear, and look me in my eyes. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing my whole life. But you just beg to see me dance just one more time. Ooh, I seek you, seek you, seek you